Welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. We need to head out to the Lone House to visit this Bartholomew fellow. But since we know where the Dwarven ruins are, let's check in with Jubilost and see if he wants to join us.
Forwards.
Yes, clearly that's that's a very wise decision, I would say. Stay down at the river instead of going back to the camp.
Hey, it's you again.
Okay, so he has
I would
nothing
be grateful.
to say yet, so we probably need to go to the actual place then. Well, onwards we go. Yes, we do want to enter this location. If I recall correctly, this place is filled with traps.
Cannot die from
Better
this.
ones.
Oh yes, I also equipped a mirror with an axe that does acid damage. Can just all of that. Sweet syrup. There's one trap. Lindsay should be able to
Applause, please.
disarm the most of the traps without a problem now with her.
Let's finish them quick.
Onwards!
Okay.
I don't like surprises.
Good. Acid on that. Perfect. The troll statue is well crafted with incredible attention to detail. Who would place it in the middle of the woods? That looks good. Cossack longbow. Oh, hello there. Heroic bastard sword. The protector of the unjust. Belt of mighty constitution. So I wonder, should we take this? Yeah. And there we have a wand of fireball and an amulet of natural armor +2. And then there was this log over here.
Anything else?
March ahead.
What's that?
There's a house.
Applause, please.
You and your boss, Lindsay.
My search was not in vain.
Stupid.
Without a doubt. Now, the beginning of the hunt. Ends. Left yourself exposed.
Applause, please.
There we go. Select all. Looks like these bandits died after triggering a trap. +1 bastard sword.
I will guide us.
They go down!
Certainly a crowded area for an abandoned hunt.
What a waste.
Acid thing on this one. Perfect. Stash. Excellent.
Our path leads on.
The trader's corpse is still warm. He died recently. Well, I wonder what could have killed him.
Strike worth a legend.
Strike as one.
Excellent. Grab everything. There's a little chest with an amulet of agile fists. Merchant's letter. You can read that if you want to. There we go. Talks about the hodag that we've already gotten
Forwards.
a whiff of from someone else. Proceed with caution. Traps ahead.
You see that?
Anything else? I see something. And then our leader charged forwards. Hey, wait for me!
That was close. The spiders are friendly. Interesting. Grab all of this. It's a tree stump there. Something's going on over here. The bark is charred and blackened in places.
Oh, I don't like surprises.
No, not those kinds of surprises.
Applause, please.
To victory!
Ow. Design that acid this. Quincy, disarm that.
Strike wasted.
These spiders are in my way.
Bring it!
There we go. These two. please. Tiny chest here. That appears to be locked. And Slims is running.
Applause, please.
A cozy house stands away from the main road. An excellent place for a hermit.
This is where I step in.
Running won't help you.
I'm good.
Become as dust.
I'm writing you out of our story.
Why do you want to write our enemies out of the story, Lindsay? Okay.
My training pays off.
He missed. Huh. Skin and collect.
What's that?
Yet another trap.
Anything else?
Are there any other more traps here? Okay. Seems to be clear of traps for now. Let's just have a quick look around in case we missed something.
I don't like surprises.
Nuts. Guess we robbed a squirrel of its winter meals. Dwarven Helm Shard. I think we've been to most of the map now. What is that? Tree stump.
Would you look at that? Applause, please.
Done. Yep. Let's jump or run up here. And then go into the building. Don't think there is anything for us. No, there isn't. Leave.
I found something interesting. You see that?
This didn't happen the last time I was here.
Applause, please. Anything else?
Cloak of Resistance. Braces of Archery. Iron Meat. Uh-oh. That is not good.
I am prepared to meet my end. Are you?
Contemplate on your mistakes.
Troll named Dimwit.
Stay behind me.
Strike worth a legend.
Well, dead they are. And only one of them is loot. Not like this. The Crusher. So what is the Crusher? It's an interesting weapon for sure. And we have the Protector of Unjust. 4 armor class. This one is 4 armor class as well. She's a tower shield specialist, so... And yes, I've equipped her with a short sword because that was the best weapon I could find for her. A belt of mighty constitution. You have a belt of giant strength. You have a belt of dexterity, you have a belt of mighty constitution. You do not have a belt, so let's give you a belt. Belt of dexterity, and you have a belt of physical perfection. It's fine. All fists I We don't need that. +2 natural armor class. I guess they're doing the same thing then. Let's give this to braces of archery. It's a lesser braces of archery, so let's give these to her. Right. And let's not give them. Let's give those to Ekondayo. That's it for now. This troll. Unlootable. Let's talk to this Bartholomew Delgado fellow. Huge bruise covers half of the wizard's face and his clothes are smeared with blood, but his life is out of danger. My Baron, you couldn't have chosen a better time for a visit. Let me introduce myself. Bartholomew Delgado, an independent scholar of the esoteric science. I have retreated to the wilderness, hoping to find peace for my studies. How naive. After catching his breath, the wizard limps to the table and fishes a map out of the drawer. One of those beasts stole something important to me. Fortunately, it was enchanted, so tracking the thief won't be a problem. Here's the location of their lair. He makes a mark on the map. I'm afraid I'm in no condition to go with you. Here, take a few more acid wands. They should help. And one more thing, Your Grace. The item I mentioned is a whip with a bone handle. It is an item of sentimental value. Return it, and I will be grateful. Get a wand of acid arrow. Now, I must ask you to leave. I have several unpleasant procedures to perform. The wizard opens a tome and starts leafing through it silently, ignoring you. Huh? What kinds of experiments does he conduct here? Serrated knives, stained needles, and manacles share shelves with flasks, vials, and chemicals. Not at all sound like a pleasant fellow. Shambatus. Bartholomew's diary. This is the title page of a diary covered with crudely scratched symbols. There are numerous smears, worn spots, cuts and burns on it. Bartholomew obviously isn't a tidy type. The leather cover is spotted with acid burns, page edges are tattered. There are 4 symbols carved on the carved on. First one is B, 3 others stand separately, I and I. If B stands for the name Bartholomew, what does this I and I mean? Interesting. The Great Experiment, day 104. I've burned all the previous notes, too embarrassed to remember what a complete fool I was. Now that I've got the creature, call it Dimwit. Everything is going to be alright. Studying the troll's ability to regenerate will lead me to my ultimate goal. Experiment, day 112. Got a reason to celebrate. While determining Dimwit's pain threshold, I found out it practically has no such thing. Wounds, broken bones, amputations, and the rest of the perils of a warrior's or mage's life. For a troll, these are no threat at all. The trick is to avoid getting carried away while working with fire or acid, so that impact spots will heal in several days. Amazing. Too bad I didn't dare to buy it at the very beginning of my way. Day 125. Staying in bed for the second day after the incident. Serves me right. I got a trifle too excited and came a bit too close to Dimwit. The beast bit my arm. Then he started shouting something like Borba, Borba. I wonder what that means, if anything at all. The wounded hand is still sore. It even hurts to write this. I hate pain so much. Day 127. Here I am, lying in bed and thinking about how different we are. My unique intellect against its unbearable animalistic stupidity. At the same time, its regeneration and some chthonic ability to endure tortures and heal wounds against my human fragility. an intolerance to pain. It's okay, I'll find a way to get what I need. Day 129. I got overzealous. Regeneration of 3 simultaneously amputated limbs proved to be an extremely slow process. All the resources of the troll's strength are barely enough for it to go on. I probably shouldn't have used fire. In the wild environment and without my elixirs, the creature will be long dead. I will continue my experiments in 3 days or so. I feel I'm close now. A few more efforts and I will really become invulnerable and invincible. Here's the Temple of Roses by Elestin of Sinaria. That if you want. The Dryad. Anything else in here? Can I talk to him about that diary? No.
Without a doubt.
Well, I guess part of the issue with the trolls come from this guy. Something to look down here. Herbs. Look in the journal. Guiding beacon. It's the lost child. So, I don't think we need to check up on all of
We march ahead.
leads that Ekondio had for us. I think we should just head towards those ruins. Well, we will actually pass through those areas, whether we want to or not. A random encounter.
We will prevail.
Of course it has no trolls.
Your life ebbs low.
And explodes.
There we go. Expect that Stefano Mosconi will want to talk to us. See Sir Stefano Mosconi from Pitax. Oh, that was the arrogant nobleman who attended our reception. He looks reduced from when you first met him. His clothes are torn and bloodstained, and his waxed hair and moustache are bent at odd angles. Noticing you, Stefano salutes you with his rapier. He seems genuinely pleased to see you. We meet again. I confess, I never thought I'd be glad to see you. I'm glad I made it in time. I bow to your dignity. Saving me here after our unpleasant conversation back in your capital must have been controversial. I may even owe you an apology for my behavior. Despite the many flaws, your barony has some potential. Sir Stefano leans his rapier wearily. The people here, yourself included, are passionate and ready to embrace progress. Not all countries are so open. Stefano inhaled sharply. The people of Galt might as well be a mob. Brevoy is eating itself from within by continual struggles for power, and Numeria, why, it's hardly a land at all. Here he says, I'll show you barbarian strength. You can hear Amiri cracking her knuckles. First, I show you the floor. Barney continues, but here I see a beginning of something greater. Your people admire you, respect you, and believe in a future with you as their leader. Stefano gives a respectful nod. Not all may say the same. I will report this to my king Irovetti. Maybe this barony is actually worthy of becoming Pitax's vassal. Vassal? Yes. Sir Stefano pauses for a moment and looks surprised. What did you think I would offer? Do you think us equals? He scoffs. If your barony were even a hint of becoming a rival to Pitax, why, His Highness Irovetti... Stefano looks flustered. Why, he would need to deal with that threat by vassal treaty, or by steel. Valerie mentions that I see that gratitude is fashionably out of date in Pitax. Her lips form a thin line and Stefano flushes, not in anger, shame. Stefano recovers, straightening. Why, my lady, on the contrary, it's because of gratitude I'm being candid with you right now. Valerie speaks softly, so softly that only you can hear her. Please remain temperate. Stefano may be stupid, but dealing with him here and now would only bring you that much closer to the Stag Lord and his bandits. Lawful neutral, your honesty is welcome. Next time we meet, it could be on the battlefield. Valerie nods pensively beside you as though to herself. You understand perfectly well that her approval is meant for you. Stefano says that I will look forward to that meeting, Your Grace, however it unfolds. He salutes with his rapier. It has been an honor. That was interesting. Moving along then. Could be a river crossing here somewhere.
A rest would be welcome.
Go, and we can probably rest as well.
Why do you always think about death?
Ekin. How can I answer this question? I'm more surprised that none of you think about it much at all.
Well, I guess it makes sense that he's one of the focal points because he is quite amusing. I want to go to the Kobold Trail, please. Yeesh. The hill seemed pleasant, even welcoming. No grey doom and gloom, just walking along the path and enjoying the view of all the cute little white pyramids built out of pebble stone. Or wait, was it pebble stone? Horror of horrors, what I mistook for pebbles were polished bones. All along the path, the grass was riddled with pyramids made of polished kobold remains. Got us thinking, is it wise to follow such a grim path, the way marked by death itself? Defying all danger, we followed the path. Succeeded at the law nature check. Trying to brush away thoughts on who may have polished the kobold vertebrae and why, we quickly moved along the path leading us through the pale hills. It didn't take long for us to reach a mountain river with a bridge crossing over it. Well, the bridge may be a bit generous, but since it was actually just a long branch, about as thick as an arm, spanning from one bank to the other. It may have been enough for a kobold to cross, since we could see another of those small bone pyramids on the far side, but it didn't look nearly strong enough for our party to cross. Precautions were definitely in order. We readied a rope to ensure the daredevil's safety. Foresight had always been among our esteemed Baron's strongest virtues. Thank you. With the practiced motions of a seasoned adventurer, he pulled a length of rope out of his pack and prepared it to be tied around the waist of whoever would be proved brave enough to step on the branch and attempt to cross the river. That would at least help reduce the risk of drowning. Before deciding how to proceed, we carefully examined the river. We quickly discovered that the river was quite deep. I plunged my arm shoulder deep into the water and couldn't even feel the bed. It was fast too. The current pulled a dried leaf off my sleeve and it was gone from my sight in a blink. And it was cold. Very, very cold. Frankly, none of us were interested in taking a swim. We carefully examined the branch that would help us cross the river. The branch did have one thing going for it, though being so thick, it happened to be quite sturdy. But that didn't make the flimsy crossing any less slippery or challenging to anyone daring to set foot on it. I wonder how many kobolds had slipped on the wet bark and found a watery grave in the ice-cold river. Choose a character, we talked it over and chose a volunteer to try crossing the river. Ekon, obviously. Ekondayo was unperturbed by the thin branch and the speeding current. After a deep breath, our volunteer set forth along the precarious crossing. One step, then another. A few feet crossed with no trouble, and I started to think that maybe things would be fine. That's when the branch jerked and started to shake. It was rolling over. With no time to think, all Ekondayo could do was... Mobility 15, jump to the other side. Succeeded at a mobility check. Oh, the lengths we'll go into in our efforts to keep our pride untarnished and our pants dry. One incredible jump and Ekondayo was on the other bank. Ekondayo took a moment to catch his breath and turned his attention back to the crossing. As soon as the rope was securely fixed on both banks, the branch didn't seem as much a death trap as it had before. Losing no more time, we crossed the river. One small pyramid made of polished kobold bones may be a bit spooky, but it's not unbearable. But how about thousands? We found ourselves looking over a proper kobold graveyard. Each little pyramid a mark of a kobold death, and that mark made out of their own remains. Sheesh. The real enigma, though, waited in the heart of the burial ground. The centerpiece was made of hundreds, maybe even thousands of polished bones, all put together to form the head of an enormous dragon. Imagine it. These small nonsensical reptiles somehow managed to create a sculpture both fearsome and magnificent. Such might, and yet such frailty as well. If a single bone were to be removed from the foundation, this beautiful statue would crumble to dust. I even spotted one such flimsy bone. Regardless, we'd come face to face with irrefutable proof. The kobolds, for better or worse, were changing. This news had no impact on our search for the trolls, though. The land was clearly sacred to the kobolds, and it seemed unlikely they would bring their new friends here. But how would the Baron deal with the structure we found in his realm? Neutral good, the Baron deemed it proper to respect the kobold shrine. Following my advice, the Baron adjusted the dangerously loose bone in the hope of reinforcing the remarkable composition. His Grace was standing to leave when a glint from the dragon's jaw drew his attention. Carefully reaching inside, the Baron pulled out what seemed to be a dirty stone. Beneath an outer layer of clay, we found a large, finely cut emerald. It seemed the kobold spirits decided to grant us a gift. Stowing the offering in his bag, the Baron turned and left. We dutifully followed our leader, and soon the bizarre kobold burial ground was far behind us. There's nothing interesting left in this location. The troll wilderness. Guessing these people need to rest very
Resting
soon.
would be nice, don't you think?
Speaking of which...
Ekon, the village you lived in. Tell me what it was like.
It was good. Honest people, good food, clean sky. Everything a person needs. You can write that down.
Continue. Now, I think that this is a good spot to end the episode, because if I'm not mistaken, this place is rather substantial. So, Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all next time.